Right, okay. So, introduce yourself.
I am Nuha, and I am an artist from East London, and I just played at the Shacklewell.
And you did a good job of it as well.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Glad you liked it.
I was very impressed. So can you tell us about how you got into music first?
I got into music from sound art. So I was, my background is visual art. I went to art school and did fine art, and I got interested in sound art, and then sound art developed at some point into an interest in going into like a music realm, but for a very long time I was in a music realm, but I was like a fish out of water with the people that I guess I was involved with in some ways, but for me I was just finding my way. So I got into music from like a very experimental kind of like.
And how long ago was that?
About 4,000 years ago.
4,000.
Yeah.
Okay. So so do you think that you're more of an artist than a singer?
Yes.
So so basically what you do is basically so when you're on stage you're creating art. Would you say that was a thing?
Yes.
Okay.
I would say that. I wouldn't say I'm creating art as in I'm going on stage and I'm just like, I'm going to create art for you. I'm very honest actually when I'm on stage, but the way that I approach what I do is from a way of an artist rather than a musician.
Like David Bowie. David Bowie always thought of himself as an artist more than a musician.
Yeah.
So.
I don't have a kinship with musicians, I have to say.
Okay.
I feel very different to musicians, so I would say that I'm an artist.
So how long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this.
Really good. Amazing.
Hi. Thank you very much.
It was very nice. Thank you.
Thanks for coming and being with me for it. Cheers. I've been doing this for probably. Well, I would say I've been doing this probably for about 15 years. However, when I first started doing this, I wouldn't say that when I started doing this, I planned to have any kind of path in music. I just started doing it as that my friends had a band and they asked me to join them, and I was making essentially just noise being with them. And I was like, oh, this is fun, but I wasn't like, this is my path, I'm going to be a musician now. I was like an artist, but I was just having fun with my friends.
Can I ask you then how old you are now?
I am 6,427 years old.
Right, so basically that was 15 years ago, so I've got to take 15, I'm not even bothered to take 15 years after that.
And no, I'm not that good at maths, to be honest.
But do you feel like you're an old person and a wise person?
I feel like a child mostly. I feel like a child that was like injected with seeing more than they expected to see.
Okay, and can you tell us a bit about the more that you saw? Can you tell us a bit about what you...
You can join me if you like, James.
Can you tell us a bit about what you saw? Hello.
Hi.
All right. Can you tell us a bit about what you saw?
We're doing a little interview, but you can sit with me.
So you say you injected a bit more than you saw. So can you tell us
Say again, sorry?
Can you tell us what that is? You see?
I mean, I do. I feel in many ways like a child, and I always do. But a child that has been injected with more than they expected to see.
And can you tell us that what the thing that you know more than you expected to see? Can you actually elaborate on that and say what that is?
Well, sometimes as a child you get life experiences that you didn't expect.
Yeah.
And you get sometimes a lot of them, and you have to like learn how to deal with them, and you're just like, oh, fuck, this thing's happening now, this is happening now, but I'm only a child, I don't know how to deal with it. But then you have to deal with it and you have to teach yourself and you have to learn how to cope. It's like survival mode.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to deal with anything, just get straight in at the deep end and say fuck it and just pretend. You know what I mean? You might have to pretend a bit. You know what I mean? And that's it. So, right, okay, so basically music these days seems to be put in different boxes. Like country music, you know, punk music, bloody heavy metal, whatever, it's all in different boxes, whatever. Now, if you had to describe your music, because you don't come in any of those boxes, as far as I can see, but if you had to describe it yourself, what would you describe it as?
It's an interesting thing, actually. I say it's interesting, like, so my friend James here is, I think that, you know, the music that we create is not, well, naturally not in the same category because I think things are very personal to the people that make them, but, you know, James comes from a very interesting musical background and projects that James has been involved in have been incredibly unique, and there is nothing else that I've personally experienced to some of the things that I've witnessed you do. Fear of Fluffing is something that I've never experienced anything like Fear of Fluffing before.
Hang on. Fear of Fluffing.
Sorry, I'm not I'm just saying, I'm not diverting attention from myself here. I am going to continue talking, but because James is here, and he is actually like a friend that I feel is relevant to this conversation because he's here, and I think that we're probably both in that same way. So there is different approaches to how people create, and depending on the reasons and the need that you create things is the outcome. So let's say, as an example, there is myself and there's my friend James. Right. And in this particular situation that you know me for, Nuha Rubiara, solo project, my friend James, and the situation in the project specifically that I'm talking about is a band called Fear of Fluffing. And Fear of Fluffing is, you know, they not particularly active anymore, I would say.
No. Improv, like complete improv.
Completely.
With no like.
Completely
idea
improv.
About what's coming.
And me and James, I would say, come from Hackney Wick. We might come from many other places, but I think we come from Hackney Wick.
Yeah.
And James's band that I'm referring to is a band that is born of the Wick, as I would say, and you know, it's a band that I discovered, you know, creating amazing float and outfits that changed all the time and only played in that space, which at the time, Hackney Wick's a very different place now, but at the time was like an artist, small but incredible community of artists that lived in a really wonderful bubble that all helped each other, and I wouldn't be where I am now without the community that I had. Absolutely would not be. And we will both come from that place. And, you know, watching James at the time, and James was doing this before I was doing what I'm doing now, of people doing things because they need to do them and how they want to do them. And they're not things that go by the books in any way. They're just because of a need to create and being incredible, like, you know, artisans at what they do. But they are choosing to use it in a particular way. So for me personally, the way that I've been creating, and I don't know whether yours and the rest of your bands comes from a place of confidence, but I would just project it on you and say that came from a place of confidence. Mine certainly didn't. Mine came from a place previously of huge lack, like huge amount of lacking. And I was trying to build something within myself. But the way that I chose to build something within myself is to just to do something that was not,
normal?
It's not that it wasn't normal, it was just like, it's just what I needed to do, and that's it. And
it was creating a space.
Yeah,
no?
it was great.
It's like creating a space and being within your performance, dressing up, like a ceremony. I mean, not to interject too much, but that's definitely what we were about.
Well, I saw I watched some of your stuff on YouTube and stuff, and when I saw you live, you much. I mean, I say this about a lot of bands, when you actually see them live, I mean, they're either crap or much better than whatever you saw, and you are in that category of much better than what you saw on YouTube.
Thank fuck
so,
for that.
so
Thank fuck for that.
yeah, thank fuck for that.
I mean,
But you know, it's difficult. So tell us about your basically you come up with songs and stuff. Tell us how you do that. I mean, if you think of an idea, how does that sort of like?
get you a drink. Tequila.
In whatever form
And
you
a long
want.
drink as well, tequila and
It can be a long drink. You can make it long if you want. Whatever you want, I trust you.
So tell us how you get an idea, because you've obviously got a lot of ideas about songs and stuff. How does that sort of like the idea in your head create into a song? How do you do that?
So songs to me, all about feeling. I don't come to songs from a way of like chord progressions and arrangements. Arrangements come later on, but they don't come from any, I don't know, like I guess in a sort of any traditional way. They come from wanting to create a feeling. But I don't actually start off by being like, I want to create this feeling, what can I do? I set up, so I'm like jack of all trades, master of none. So I play, I play
That's pretty much
a lot of instruments.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that I am, skillful at any of them, but I do what I need to do with them as an expression. It's like an artist that has loads of paintbrushes and loads of paint and different things they can create with, and they just use them in however way they can use them. I don't know if that's a really good example.
Can you tell us a bit about the instruments you play as well, because we'd like to.
So I have a new EP that's coming out in March, at the start of March on the 3rd. And in that one I play all the instruments with the exception of the horns. And I have a friend that also, so Terry Edwards played the horns, and my friend James Howard played some guitar on some of the songs, but it doesn't actually like really sound like guitar, but he's guested with me on a couple of them. But aside from those two brilliant contributions, I played all the rest of the instruments. Was with the first EP, that's the only one that I've had out so far, I invited other people to come and play. But the beginning part was me sitting and I arrange all my instruments. It's like a whole band is going to come and play. I have all of the different stations, but it's just me there. And whatever I feel like that particular day, or whatever like I want to start with, I'm a bassist to begin with, I would say. And I would still not call myself a bassist like I'm particularly skillful bassist, but that is my first instrument. That's what I played in my previous band of many years. But I've always played everything in my own way. But it's the one that I'm most comfortable with, as in, the one that comes most naturally to me. So a lot of my songs actually start with bass. But I sit and I'll play something, and then from that thing, other things, I'll then move on and I'll add another layer from another instrument or whatever. But essentially, it comes from a place of a feeling, and it's like cinema is the most influential thing to me out of anything. It's actually not other bands.
I'd absolutely agree with that, because I watch a lot of films, so I would absolutely agree with that. So, my favourite film of all time is Casablanca.
Oh, brilliant film.
Yeah, and it's a brilliant film.
Thank you. Thanks, babe. All good. Cheers. Cheers.
So what I was interested in is some of the places you may have played. Have you played abroad a lot?
Yeah, I've played abroad. As Nuha Riviera, I've played abroad quite a fair bit, and I've played in previous bands in a lot more places as well.
Can you tell us what countries you played in?
I've played in America, I've played in New York and Austin.
Wow.
Played in the Czech Republic, in
Austin,
France,
Texas.
In Austin, Texas.
Wow.
I played South by Southwest, so that's how I played there.
Okay.
I played in France, Germany, Italy. Bye, James. See you later. I have played in the Netherlands.
The Netherlands, wow.
I played a fantastic festival, Left with the Dial, last summer. Amazing festival where they are playing in Europe, to be honest, is incredible. You get looked, I mean, I think everyone that plays music says it, you get looked after so well, but you really do. And it's not just you get looked after so well in, you know, sort of surface level things where you get paid well and you get put up in a nice hotel and get a nice rider, but the people that look after you, the people that are working, everyone really goes above and beyond, and there is a huge passion and care to what people give you when you're there, regardless of how much is available to them or not. There is just an enormous amount of passion and appreciation for the people that go and play, and I feel that's something I can say in general about playing in Europe as a whole.
Yeah, so what's the worst thing that's ever happened to you when you've been playing, and what's the best thing that's ever happened to you playing? I always ask this question.
The worst thing, I mean, I don't know, to be honest, because like, I'm going to say one example, and it might not be the worst thing, because I can't remember everything right now. But in my previous band, I was playing in Electric Ballroom.
Oh God, the Electric Ballroom, I used to go there like 30, 40 years ago probably.
It's a great place, it's a brilliant place. It's not to do with the actual place, it's nothing to do with the place, it's to do with me. And I was playing bass, and I was very energetic, and my whole, the whole band was very energetic, but I basically like stacked it over this monitor like halfway through a song in a really brutal way, stacked it over on my back. I carried on playing anyway on my back on the floor and managed to like somehow pull it off, which, actually that's not the worst thing. That was just like, for me it was like, that was a challenging moment, but there's definitely been more challenging things. I think, I don't want to name names, but there has been some things that I would say I've been booked for where I turn up and I'm just like, oh wow, this crowd, let's say maybe a festival, and it's like, this crowd is really, really not, it's not the crowd that naturally is going to like gel with what I'm doing. But I give it my best, and there is a tiny handful of people that I can tell somehow I've broken through to, and that feels like the biggest achievement ever, because I know that for those people that's not something that's like naturally for them they would be into, but then there is a whole other sea of people that are just like, what the fuck is going on? Why am I here? So those are the most challenging shows.
So what's the best thing?
The best thing, and again, I'll say there was many, many things, but the best thing for me that I would say right now was playing Green Man's main stage. And this was not last year, but the year before that. I somehow won the Rising competition, which I entered, got into the finalists, and I was in the 6 finalists, and the 6 finalists meant that I was going to play the Rising stage. The overall winner got to open the main stage, but I got to the finalists and I was just like, fucking amazing, I'm going to play Green Man. That's one of my favourite festivals. I'm so happy I'm going to play it. I'm not going to win the thing, but I am happy with what I got. And when they did the announcements on like BBC Wales, and I remember being at a friend's party and my manager's just being like, you're going to listen to it? I was like, no, I'll find out tomorrow who's won it, like it's fine. And they're like, no, it's fine. So I went up to my friend's room on my own because they were like, just go and listen to it, you never know. And I was like on my own at this party going up to my friend's room, and I just put it on because they told me to like, just fucking listen to it, you never know. And I won it, and it was honestly, wow. And I'm not just being like, I never thought I would win it, but I really didn't. And then when I went, because it is one of my favourite festivals, Green Man is one of the best festivals that I've ever been to. There is a million reasons for why I think it's a beautiful and incredible festival, and it was the biggest honour, honestly, to like be in a place where I was just like, they kind of like decided this thing. So I opened the main stage 2 years ago, and that was for me 100% the biggest highlight of my year 2 years ago, and it will always be one of my biggest highlights. So I will say that.
Well, this is probably be my last question. Where is Nuha Ruby Ra going in the future?
Nuha Ruby Ra.
Right, okay, right, okay, so I've got it wrong. I always get people's names wrong.
That's alright. It's not a name that you're used to. So it's
Nuha
okay.
Ruby Ra.
Where's Nuha Ruby
And
Ra?
where did that name come from anyway? Where did you get it from?
Egyptian.
It's Egyptian.
Yes.
Okay.
I am Egyptian. I am an ancient Egyptian person.
So okay. Nuha
Yes.
Ruby Ra.
Yes.
I've got it right. What else is
Nuha. No, it's fine. Honestly,
I've got it right. I've got it wrong. But
it's
basically,
alright.
yeah.
No, you probably don't know anyone else called Nuha, so it's alright.
No, I don't know anyone called Nuha.
Exactly. So it's
but
all
basically, but where would you like to go in the future? What would you
to go
like?
in the future?
So musically, whatever.
To be honest, all I want to do is in the future go to places where I'm around people that I really appreciate being around. That's the most important thing to me. I don't care for fucking dickheads. I don't care for. Yeah, I mean, I'm in the music business, and there is a lot of dickheads around, and I know that from, So, but I say that, but also I am actually really fucking lucky where I know so many amazing people in music that I would call my friends, contemporaries, comrades in many ways. So all I actually would really hope for is to have the chance to carry on do what I do, but be surrounded by people that I want to be around. They're not dicks.
No, I've got it. I would like that. They're everywhere. But what can you do? Anyway, if John would like to ask some questions?
I think it was a video from 2019. You had a saxophone player.
Yes, Rick Jensen.
Yeah.
Amazing man.
How did you meet Rick?
How did I meet Rick? So Rick's fucking incredible.
I know.
Rick is a really, he's an amazing saxophonist and really interesting player. I can't remember how I actually met Rick for the first time.
Have you been to New River and stuff?
Of course I have.
Yeah.
New River is one of my favourite places in London.
It's a great place, yeah.
They've personally done me so many favours.
You played there, right? You obviously played.
I actually haven't played
Really?
there.
Oh.
But, so there's an amazing night called Cry Rock Karaoke. And that night is based, it has been based in New River for quite a while, and I've played there quite a lot. So I've played at Cry Rock Karaoke a lot. I haven't played any gigs there as in any like official sort of like shows, but I've played there for Cry Rock a lot. But New River have facilitated, I mean, apart from the fact that they're just my friends and they're an amazing place that I love being at, they've also helped me a hell of a lot. They're the place that I've actually been to in really critical moments so many times where I've needed to go and rehearse and I've been fucking broke and I've had no money and I've not been able to go and pay for a rehearsal studio to go to and have that time, and they've like just let me go and rehearse there for something that's like next to nothing, and given me just like a lot of support in many other ways. And I actually I've just made a music video that's gonna come out soon, and once again they've let me use the place. And
what's the name of the video?
New River Studios.
No, the video you made.
Oh, the video?
Yeah.
It's 6 a.m, which is my next single, and I haven't told anyone else that yet.
That's exclusive.
Exclusive, yeah.
It's exclusive.
You toured a lot last year.
Say again?
You toured a lot.
Oh, I toured a hell of a lot last year.
Can you tell us who you... And did you tour with Wulai? Is it Wulai?
Wooloo.
Wulu, yeah.
Wooloo.
Yeah.
So I didn't tour specifically with Wooloo, but me and Wooloo crossed paths a lot, and we were on like the same stages and then the same festivals a lot. Wooloo are
Amazing live.
they're phenomenal.
Oh.
They're absolutely incredible. I'm so fucking glad. I'm so grateful and so glad that those guys are getting the recognition that they deserve. They're an absolutely phenomenal band, and they also represent something in music right now within specifically the genre, roughly, and the surroundings of what they do, that 100% needs to have their voice. And they're also really fucking incredible people. So I'm really happy for them and everything that they get to do.
I've seen them at Rough Trade back in July. I filmed it actually, and they were fucking amazing, man.
They are mind blowing. And
yeah.
if you go to their gigs, I've seen a lot of their gigs, and it's a really very different experience every time. Every time it's incredible, but it's
I only seen them the
experience.
once, and I thought these are so fucking good, man. And they were, you know,
They
were
are
just
definitely a band
yeah.
that I personally at least feel are very driven by something that is very true and very real, and is really organically to do with where they're at that point when they're on stage and what's going to happen. That's what I get at least. Yeah, they're an incredible band.
Okay, well, are we finished? Okay, well, thank you very much.
You're very
I'm
welcome.
going to have to say, Nuha, Ruby Ra, have I got that right again?
You got it perfectly.
Right, thank God for that. Thank you very much, and
Thank you.
I will look forward to your next gig. And
Thank
when
you
the
so
next time
much.
you're playing in London?
So I'm actually playing a charity gig on Valentine's Day
Oh, that's nice.
for Choose Love at the Jazz Cafe in Camden.
Wow,
Okay.
that's good.
It's for a fantastic cause, and there is a lot of really brilliant people playing. There's a band called Weave, which has Graham Coxon and Rose McDougall, who are two fantastic artists and musicians from different spaces that have made this band. There is the Big Pink, there's myself, there is one of my dearest, one of my best friends, who is putting on the whole thing, a brilliant musician and artist called Kira Haydar. There is many other people involved, but it's essentially all for a charity called Choose Love. And we thought, I'm going to give it to Kira. Kira thought it would be a really amazing thing to do on Valentine's Day. And I never thought that I would play at the Jazz Cafe, so I'm really grateful for her for inviting me. So I'm excited about that.
Quite a big feeling, isn't it?
And it's for a great cause. So